Hey, everybody, it's Matt again with Notes and Knobs. Thanks for tuning in. Listen, in this video, I'm going to talk about how the Helix saved my butt while I was playing a show at Graceland. Yes, that Graceland. So stick around. It is a great day for great gear as always. So turn the suck knob down, turn the talent up. Make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll see you in a minute. Hey everybody, so back in 2024, I think, 24, I got to play a show at the Graceland Soundstage, which is kind of across from Graceland. If you've never been to Graceland, first of all, you gotta go. I grew up a huge Elvis fan, still an Elvis fan. It was a kind of a dream come true for me to get to play there, and I'm gonna talk more about that. I mean, I was such a fan that even one of my sons, one of my 4 boys, was born on August 16th, and his middle name is Presley. Yes, I shot for Elvis, but his mom totally shot that down, so it is what it is. So anyway, there's a lot of pro gigs. First of all, I was playing for an artist named Terry Mike Jeffrey, who I've played with Terry Mike for years. One of the most talented guys on the planet. Singing, songwriting, instrumentalist, unbelievable. Terry Mike is the only Graceland endorsed Elvis tribute artist in existence. He's not an impersonator at all. He's just a tribute artist. And he spent his life getting to play with all of Elvis's original band, had a show on Elvis Sirius Radio, wrote for Sesame Street for over 20 years. I could go on and on. Just an honor to play with literally a very good friend and one of the most talented guys I've ever met. But anyway, so we were playing Elvis Birthday Celebration, and we do this with the Memphis Symphony Orchestra, which is another big honor. Kyle Dixon was the conductor. Wonderful, wonderful conductor, great guy, super talented, and of course the Memphis Orchestra. So, you know, you get charts and everything ahead of time, and you get the backline. And I really want this to be more about how the Helix saved my butt, but just some background for you amateurs and pros out there. So, you know, you get the songs, you get charts, and I loaded those up on an iPad like a lot of us do. You know, I had my flipper to flip the pages, so I'm not, you know, doing this kind of stuff. Anytime you play with an orchestra, it's really dress right dress. So it's funny because the Memphis Symphony is union, so they put this big clock with a timer on there on the stage, and when you're doing sound check and rehearsal, they run this clock, and by God, that's all the time that you have. Now, side note, pet peeve, what I do like about it is when you say rehearsal to me, or to most professionals I know, you should already know the song when you get there. It drives me nuts. People say, we're having a rehearsal, and you show up and they're really just going to jam and play the songs that they're going to do. That's not a stinking rehearsal. That's a jam, right? Know the difference. If you're going to work on songs, work on songs. However, the big thing is, especially like with a symphony, there is no rehearsing. There's allotted time, and all you really do is making minor tweaks, like, hey, we're going to cut this ending, or we're going to go to this bar, or we're going to, whatever the case is, you're making kind of minor adjustments. So anyway, we do all that. Well, there's a backline like most venues. The soundstage is about a 2,500, 3,000 person venue, so it's not huge, but really nice, very well done, very well produced. A lot of people play there. So in the backline, I requested a twin reverb. So the plan was, and the reason for that is James Burton, one of my Mount Rushmores for sure, telly players and guitar players in general, played a twin, still plays a twin. He just sits his pedal on top of it. That's all the pedals he uses. So it was really more for great sound. Obviously, twins sound wonderful. And I was going to take the Helix just for the effects, right? Just simple, easy to use. But I always take it just in case something goes wrong, which plays into this. Plus, the Helix has a great suck knob. You know, you can turn the suck knob down. So if you're playing really bad, it's got a great where you can turn that suck knob down. Not really, I wish it did. But so anyway, during the sound check, the twins started going out. So at first it was the reverb. So we're doing this and I'm motioning the guy over. I'm like, hey, the reverb is going out. And next thing I know, it starts cracking. This thing ended up, the reverb went out. It had bad tubes. So guess what? So in the pictures in the video, you're going to see a twin behind me, but I'm using an amp right out of here. Right? I used a twin right out of here. Now, full disclosure, I don't remember if I used a twin because I'm kind of partial to the Princeton on this. But at any rate, it saved my butt. I went direct. I left the twin up there. But as a professional, what if I wouldn't have had that? They did not have another amp for the backline. It's my job to be able to play. So when the bell rings and the curtain opens, you should be able to play. You should have extra stuff. The point is, whether this is a backup, your main deal, it's still as relevant today as it was when it came out 10 plus years ago, right? So I know the new stadium is coming out, the Helix Stadium, which I'm like number 41 on the Sweetwater list to get one, and I'm excited about it. 99.9999% of the time, man, this is all you need. I've used it in the studio. I've used it for acoustic, for bass, for mandolin, for banjo, with the amps, without the amps, just for the effects, just in an effects loop. It's old reliable, especially with the price drop they've had. Even if you're only using it as the backup and keeping it on the trailer, it's an amazing piece of gear. And I'm gonna tell you right now, if nothing else ever came out from now to the end of time, for 99% of people, it's all you'd ever need. It's built like a tank. It saved my butt. So if it can save my butt at Graceland, I promise it's good enough and can save your butt down at the local, saloon and bar that you're playing your gigs. That's not a knock. I love those gigs. But you've got to be ready to play. Doesn't matter if there's 5 people there or 3,000. So even if it's just a backup. So this sucker, like many times before, saved my butt, which is great because, I did mention there was a lot of great people there. If you've ever heard Mary and Ginger Holiday, which you have, they were there. So at the show, they sang In the Ghetto and Suspicious Minds, all that backup on those records. My good friend Gene Chrisman was there and actually commented on my tone. For sure, he thought it was the twin live, which would have sounded great. And I actually explained to him how I was running direct. And for those of you who don't know, Gene Chrisman was the original drummer for the Memphis Boys. So Gene played drums on the recording of Suspicious Minds, In the Ghetto, all the Highwaymen records, and he played with them live when the Highwaymen went out. Sweet Caroline, heard of that song? That's Gene on drums. So on and on. So Gene's been around some stuff and knows what tone should sound like, and was crazy complimentary of my playing, which I appreciate, Gene, and of the tone. Even got to meet Wink Martindale, for those of you people. He just recently passed, I think. Yes. But that great piece of gear. I've used it on literally thousands of shows, hundreds of sessions. I still use it today. If you're interested in one, I highly recommend it. Click my link below. I'm a Sweetwater rep, and I have 6 kids, and they all smoke cigarettes. So please, cigarettes are expensive. Please, please click my link and buy a Helix. I'm just teasing. Totally kidding. Only 4 of them smoke. But all that aside, click the link below. Please subscribe. Please like. A lot more stuff coming out. Tell me what you like. But as always, it is a great day for great gear. I'll see you next time.